My name is Kyoichi Amami. I'm a 40-year-old business owner. Straight after graduating from college, I worked at a company for 3 years, and after that went abroad to get my master's degree at a university overseas. I came back to Japan after successfully getting my MBA, and I was approached by my best friend from college, Kazuyoshi Hirouchi, to start a company together. We're gonna make it to the top, Kyoichi! You know it. From the first year, we were working like dogs with almost no salary or income. Our work was divided pretty clearly, with my role being planning and his being sales. Looking back, I can't even remember how intense and tough those days were. But they were fruitful days spent working hard with my best friend, and eventually we started to see results. Our company continued to grow steadily. Maybe it's about time we hired some help. That's true, like accounting and general affairs. It would be most helpful if we can find someone who could do both. Should we try headhunting for people who are already in the middle of their career? I have some ideas. The person that Kazuyoshi brought in was a woman named Misako. As an employee and an office worker, she was brilliant, and I was slowly starting to fall for her. And so, if you'd like, please go out with me.
It would be my pleasure.
Congratulations to the two of you! The year after we got married, we welcomed our daughter Yuina, who is now in the 2nd grade. Our company also continued to grow, and we now have over 50 employees. Both my work life and my personal life were amazing. Or so it could have been, but recently I was concerned that my wife had been oddly cold toward me.
Hey, Yuina has her English classes today, but can you take her?
Wasn't it your turn to take her today? Actually, if you're too busy or you have too much on your plate, why don't you just come and talk to me about it?
I want to keep my work life and my personal life completely private, okay? So, can you take her or not?
I mean, I guess I can figure it out.
Okay, great, thanks. Something came up, so...
Another happy hour. You've been going out a lot recently.
Can you call it what it is, a business dinner? Who do you have to thank for the recent growth in sales?
Even if it is a business dinner, is it really necessary for you to go when you're a part of the general affairs department?
Can you talk to Mr. Kazuyoshi about that then? He's the one that's invited me. He said that I bring a good energy and that the business dinners are a lot more successful when I'm there.
Alright, well, I'll talk to him about it.
Thanks. Well then, see you later.
I contacted Kazuyoshi immediately. Hey, how's it going? Hey, not bad! Hey, Kazuyoshi, is it really necessary for Misako to go to the business dinner? Of course! Lately, it seems like there's a lot of business dinners in general. Come on, sales is my department, right? Don't you trust me as your vice president to be pushing sales? I'm doing the dirty work here so that you can keep your status too. I know, and I'm grateful for that, but Kazuyoshi said he was busy and hung up the phone. I couldn't deny that the company had grown at this rate because of Kazuyoshi's networking skills, so I couldn't press much further. I adjusted the meetings that I had scheduled for the evening, and I went to go pick up my daughter to take her to her English class.
Daddy, guess what? I'm giving a speech today in my English class.
Oh, is that so? Good luck, Yuina. You'll be great.
Thanks, I will.
My daughter was very active, and although I might be a little biased as her parent, she's extremely smart as well. Her face? Well, I guess she looks a lot like her mother. I would have felt bad for her to look like me anyway, so I thought it was fine that she didn't bear much resemblance to me. That day, it was past 11 p.m. and Misako had still not come home. I finally got a hold of her and...
Ah, Kiyoshi.
Misako! Oh, thank goodness. I've tried contacting you multiple times. Where are you? Is the business dinner finished?
Yeah, it's done. But I don't have it in me to go all the way home, so I'm going to stay in a business hotel tonight.
What? You're not coming home?
More importantly, I'm going to be requesting some days off next week.
Did something happen, or did you have something planned?
One of Yuina's classmates' moms invited me to go on a trip with her.
Oh, well, that's pretty sudden again. Where are you going?
We're going to the hot springs. To the Kusama Hot Springs in Gunma Prefecture.
Oh, Kusama, huh? I guess it is well known for the hot springs, but I don't remember you having any fellow mom friends that you were such good friends with that you go for an overnight trip together.
I have friends? How rude of you. She said she won the tickets and invited her husband, but he has to go on a business trip those days, so she invited me instead. We're going to have a nice girls' trip, all right?
All right, fine. Well, have fun. But I'd like for you to tell me in advance when you're not coming home, unlike tonight. It'll make Yuina sad, too.
That girl is already in the 2nd grade. She'll be fine. It's just one night.
I kept asking her who she was going with, but she kept on dodging the question and not giving any specific names. Until finally...
It's Miss Naito, all right?
And for some reason angrily gave me an answer. If I recall correctly, Miss Naito was a fellow mom whose daughter went to the same elementary school as Yuina. Well, if that's the case, then fine, I thought. I didn't think much of it at that time.
Hello, Mr. Amami. Are you off work today?
Hi there, Miss Naito. Nice to see you.
Well, I see you're just as busy as ever.
No, I'm going in after lunch. My colleagues forced me to get some rest.
Well, don't work too hard, all right?
Ever since I started my own company, sleep has become a luxury I can't always afford. Sometimes I think I've turned into a vampire.
It'll be unfair to Misako and Yuina.
Well, you're right. There's nothing I can say to that.
Thank you so much for the souvenir from the Kusatsu Hot Springs.
Huh?
Even our son has become obsessed with those Kusatsu cookies.
Wait a second, didn't my daughter go to the hot springs with you?
No, I had to go into my part-time job because one of the students has been out sick, so I haven't had any free time to go anywhere. Misako said that she went with you and Yuina, that it was a family vacation.
Oh, is that so?
Misako and I have both been so busy that we haven't even had time to catch up over coffee, but please give her my regards.
Yes, of course, well, that's interesting. Misako told me that she was going to the Kusatsu Hot Springs with her friend who had won tickets, but then that friend, Miss Naito, thinks that we went on a family holiday together, me included. That can only mean one thing, that Misako was lying. If that's the case, then who did she go with? My heart started racing and my shirt was getting drenched with cold sweat. Calm down, calm down. First, I need to get to work. I could talk to her about our trip later at the night. I took a few deep breaths and got into my car, but when I arrived at the office... Is someone else here? I saw some movement in my office, and I leaned my ear against the wall to see if I could hear anything.
Mr. Kazuyoshi, we can't do this here.
It's fine, don't worry, that guy isn't coming until later anyway.
But still...
These voices... wait a second, that's Misako and Kazuyoshi, isn't it? Isn't this what you wanted, Misako? You said that you wanted some more excitement, right?
Stop it, Mr. Kazuyoshi.
Where do you want to go next?
Where shall we go?
We can even go somewhere a little further away, wherever you want. Thanks to Kyoichi, I got a temporary bonus, too.
Then I want to go to Okinawa, or maybe Hokkaido.
You're okay with a domestic trip?
What?
I'm the vice president. I have plenty of money. The most forbidden international affair trip. Doesn't that sound great?
But what do we do if he finds out about us?
That guy may be book smart, but he's not the smartest in other ways, if you know what I mean. There's no way he'd suspect a thing.
That's true.
Hawaii or Guam or... Ooh, why don't we go somewhere far, far away?
Even Europe? Can we go there?
Sure thing. I'll put together the perfect itinerary for you. And us.
Thank you, Mr. Kazuyoshi.
What is this? My wife Misako and my best friend Kazuyoshi having an affair with each other in broad daylight? What were they going to do if any other employee walked in? You two! What on earth are you two doing? And in my office, what are you doing in my office?
Kyoichi? I thought you were coming in from 1300.
My lunch early because I wanted to get back to my work.
Well, I can explain.
Don't worry, I heard everything from the other side of this door. Misako, this is the kind of relationship you've had with Kazuyoshi, huh?
No, not at all. Mr. Hirochi is just a friend and...
Interesting. Then what was the reason for having a private conversation inside your boss's office of all places? When I was leaving the house, I just so happened to bump into Miss Naito. Looks like she was also on her way to work.
No way!
Misako, did you lie to me and Yuina and go to the Kusatsu Hot Springs with this guy?
No, I told you I went out with one of Yuina's mom friends.
You can stop with the lies already, it's hard to watch. Miss Naito told me that she was told that Yuina and I went on the trip with you. That's what you told her.
I see. Well, I guess you found out now.
Kazuyoshi, do you care to explain yourself? What's going on here? Can't you tell? It's just as you can see. Misako and I are in love. Since when? How long has this been going on? Oh, since long before you two got married. Stop messing around and be honest with me and tell me the truth. I am telling you the truth, actually. And as proof, I may as well mention that daughter of yours...
Kazuyoshi, no!
Her affair has already been exposed, Misako. There's no reason to hide anything from him anymore. It doesn't matter. No way. I imagined the worst possible scenario and looked over at Misako, who confirmed this nightmare by looking away. Kyoichi, you spent the last 8 years believing that Yuina was your daughter, and not once did you have any doubts, did ya? Yeah, obviously. She's a sweet girl without one bad bone in her body. She is my precious daughter. Even if she's actually my daughter? What? If you take a DNA test, you'll know immediately that Yuina and I are the real family, that I'm her real father. That can't be true. Wait, Misako! Say something. He's lying, right? Yuina is she's our daughter. You and me, right? You're kidding me. I mean, she's always called me Dad. That's because her mother, Misako, has been acting this whole time like you were her father. So of course she thinks that. How can this be?
Oh, please, don't make this my fault now. You know you're to blame. All you ever do is work. You never paid any attention to me. And ever since we had a kid, you only see me as just another employee.
Then why did you get married to me? Especially if you already had a relationship with this guy. It was my idea. I told her to do it. You were the key to growing this business. What is that supposed to mean? Back then, it's hard for me to admit it, but I was a useless piece of crap. But I had big dreams that someday I would make it to the top. And so I bet my money on you. I knew that you would be able to make this business bigger than I ever could. I don't understand. You were always depending on me, and in turn let me depend on you. That's because Misako had been telling me everything. So before we ever even spoke, I knew what you were thinking, and that allowed me to make moves accordingly. Thanks to that, I've been able to climb all the way up to vice president, and I know everything about this business and this company. You two were teaming up against me.
You know, when I look at you like this, it makes me realize altogether what a pathetic man you are.
I'm sorry to have made you tolerate this for 10 years, Misako. From now on, I promise to provide you with money and excitement in your life.
I can't wait, my darling.
Wow, is this really my wife? I've never heard her say darling. I could no longer recognize my business partner or my life partner that was standing in front of me.
So that's the story, so we're getting a divorce.
But Yuina, what about Yuina?
I'll be taking full custody of my daughter. I'm going to remarry with Kazuyoshi, and we're going to become a real family.
You think you can take her that easily? You know that Yuina and you are a fake family, so why don't you just let go of her while she's still young? Damn it, this cheating bastard tried to talk down to me? Well then, the sooner the better! Kazuyoshi threw the divorce papers at me, and at the bottom I saw that my wife had already signed her name.
Oh, and this.
Aren't you glad that we had these prepared? Misako shoved another piece of paper in my face, and when I had a look, I couldn't believe what was written on it. Excuse me? A settlement fee of $800,000? And to resign as the president and hand the company over in its entirety to Kazuyoshi? What the hell is this? Why should I have to pay you any sort of settlement?
As compensation for the emotional suffering I've had to endure over the last 10 years.
You're the one who's been cheating on me all this time!
You're the one who neglected me and therefore made me cheat.
As if stealing my daughter wasn't enough, you're trying to take my money too? Hey, don't forget about your seat as president too! Now that must truly be a joke. You know that this is my company! If anything, you'll be the one leaving!
Well then, we'll be forcing you to quit.
As if you have any power or right to do so!
We sure can! We have proof of your scandals. Cold, hard proof.
Me? Scandals? What are you even talking about? Well, it seems like you've forgotten. Remember this paperwork? The one with your signature on it? When I looked at the paper, there was indeed my signature on it. However... No, I don't remember because I never signed that. Well, that's too bad because it has your signature on it regardless. Did you forge my signature? Who knows? I sure don't know. You bastards! Anyway, this is proof that you abused your position as the president of this company for your own personal benefit.
I've just sent an email to the entire staff notifying them about this, so it's too late for you to try to stop it.
You'd prepared all this just to knock me out of the picture? Why? Why are you doing this? We built this company together, Kazuyoshi. How could you? You were always just a pawn in my game. Back then, and even now, idiot.
You should just be grateful that we're not getting the police involved. Oh, and don't forget about the settlement fee.
Even if only Yuina. Give her back to me!
What a funny thing for you to say. She's me and Kazuyoshi's daughter, so you'll be the one giving her back to him.
You realize she's only 8 years old! Don't worry, I'm gonna be a great dad to her. Better than you! Shortly after, there was an emergency company meeting, and I desperately tried to claim my innocence. But I didn't stand a chance against the thorough fake evidence that Misako and Kazuyoshi had prepared. I was also pushed out of my seat as the president of the company that I built up with my own 2 hands, and I lost all trust of my employees. And to make matters worse, Kazuyoshi was praised as my successor who had gotten rid of the evil president. I lost all motivation, and I gave up on my own company. However, I couldn't give up on my own daughter, and I decided to fight back. Unfortunately, it was undeniable that we didn't share any DNA, and I had to accept the truth, but after raising her for 8 years, she was my daughter. There was no way that I was going to leave my precious daughter with those 2. However, my efforts were useless, and the result was cruel. Although the affair was confirmed and therefore I no longer had to pay them a settlement fee, they were given full custody of my daughter.
Daddy! Daddy!
Come on, hurry up.
Yuina!
Daddy!
After the divorce, the agreement was that I would get to see her once a month, but my ex-wife cut off all communication and blocked me. She didn't even let me see her once. I thought I would go speak to her directly and tried going to my former office, but because the employees were convinced that I had been a terrible boss, they were gatekeeping and refused to let me in. In the midst of all that, half of my assets were taken in the divorce, and I'd already reached my limit and collapsed. I don't know how long I was out for, but when I finally came to, luckily my rent had been automatically deducted from whatever savings were left, so I wasn't at risk of being evicted, and my electricity, water, and gas bills were also fine. If I ever got too hungry, I would just go to those trendy delivery apps and order some food, before going right back to bed and feeling completely worthless. Little by little, I slowly started to get back on my feet, and I finally mustered up the energy to go throw out my garbage. I couldn't remember the last time I had left my bed, much less gone outside. When I walked out of the house, it was the first time I realized that the season had changed. It was early in the morning, and I could see salarymen rushing to their work, or housewives hanging up their laundry outside. However, I have nothing left. I have nothing left to live for. I started walking around aimlessly, and I knew that if I ever went back home, I would probably never see the light of day ever again. Without thinking, my feet carried me to my old house, and that was when an outrageous scene came into my view. Wait, is that?
No, stop it! Let me go! Don't touch me!
Don't speak to your father like that.
This person isn't my dad! I want my real dad! Where's Daddy?
How many times do I have to tell you that I am your real dad? You need to listen to what I'm saying, or else—
No, I don't wanna!
Yuina was trying to wrestle her way out of Kazuyoshi's arms, and in the process, I saw her hands hit him in the face. I'm letting you have such a good life, and this is how you say thanks, you little brat! Ugh!
Ow!
Yuina, now go to school!
That's enough. You need to get it together already. Driver, take her away.
I wanted to run over, but before I could get one step closer, Yuina was shoved in the car and drove off. Why won't she accept me? This is all your fault. Why did you raise such an undisciplined kid?
What do you mean it's not my fault? She thought Kyoichi was her dad all this time.
So what? She doesn't listen to a thing I say, the little brat!
It's only a matter of time. Once she realizes how good her life is now, I'm sure she'll calm down eventually.
In that moment, a switch turned on inside of me. Yuina is suffering, and she's unhappy with them. I have to do something. I have to take her back. I promise I'll come for you, Yuina. Just wait for me. From there, I started to make moves. I checked how much I had left in my savings account and utilized the tools and experience I had gained until then, as well as the network that I still had, and I started planning the next phase. People I had worked with in the past, people who I had been estranged with when I got too busy with my own work, I went to each one by one and explained the situation as I tried to get back on my feet. There were some people who I had helped out in the past with loans, and they all listened intently as I explained my new business plan. With their blessings, I had my opportunity, and after applying for a loan with the bank, I began my comeback. For the first time in a long time, I dove headfirst into my work, forgetting to eat or sleep in order to reach my goal as fast as I could. These days around the clock continued on, and before I knew it, 2 years had flown by.
Kiyoshi, it's me, Misako.
Ah, yes, Misako, the ex-wife who had an affair with the vice president and ruined her husband's life. Now that we are no longer married and don't have any relationship, please call me Mr. Amami.
Help me! Help us! We're going bankrupt!
What are you talking about?
The company that you and Kazuyoshi built together!
Oh, that's right, I heard that he was caught embezzling money to a certain group of people. And as a result, the police have gotten involved and that things have been chaotic over there since.
Kiyoshi, you knew that?
Well, whether you like it or not, I was the former president, so these rumors do fall into my lap.
Hey, can you stop talking to me like we're strangers? Even when we got a divorce, we were still partners who were once in love, right?
No matter the history, we're now strangers, so...
No, but I'm not joking anymore. Things are really bad right now.
I'm sure they are. But why are you talking to me about it? Shouldn't you be contacting the current president of the company, Kazuyoshi?
Kazuyoshi is useless. Even though he was working alongside you as the vice president all this time, he's all talk and doesn't actually have a clue about the business.
That sounds about right. He was the vice president after all, and he seemed to know what he was doing. But that was all a part of the business plan that I had devised. I built the company's structure so that his sales skills could be used to their full potential. So it was only successful because I was there to support in places that he didn't even realize, and he thought that it was all his own doing.
But you guys were only able to achieve your success because you worked together, right?
Oh, well, when it came to handling the investments and any preparations required to set up a business, I did everything myself. Am I missing something?
I never heard this.
Of course you haven't, because Kazuyoshi has no awareness of himself. He might have some skills in sales, but that's really all he's got.
Ever since you left the company, it's been going straight down the drain. Along with our performance sinking, we've been losing our best employees one by one and...
Well, of course. That's because I've invited them to join my company.
What?
Yes, that's right. I've started my own company again.
You're lying. How? When?
Coming up on 2 years now.
No, but even then, why would our employees follow you? They were the ones that had to suffer after the scandal that you caused.
For the members that have joined me, I explained everything that happened and spoke honestly.
And they believed you?
It was hard at first, but when the business started to fall apart after I left and the treatment of the employees has started to take a turn for the worst, apparently they had all started to have their suspicions about the two of you.
How could you? Isn't it illegal, scouting our employees like that?
I'm in a different industry from you guys, and if anything, headhunting is a perfectly normal thing to do, isn't it?
Well then we're going to acquire your company.
Huh?
And then that would mean that you're going to be my subordinate, right? So then you can take responsibility and help to rebuild our company.
What is this nonsense? Do you realize that my company's performance has already well surpassed yours? And that my company's value is double what yours is?
Double? Did you say double?
I'm very grateful to report that we have been on a steady climb up, and the next quarter is projected to be even better.
How is that possible in 2 years?
I already had the experience from building up that first company, so I could move much faster. You're welcome to come and try and acquire us, but you're already aware that you're just going to lose, right?
Alright, fine. Then you leave me no choice but to use my secret hand. I'll offer to remarry you.
Huh?
You heard me. I'll kick out Kazuyoshi, and I'll let you come back to our company again and make you president. That way you can also be with Yuina again, see? And you'll get back the company that you worked so hard to build. And you get back your beautiful wife. It's a win-win situation for you.
I really don't care about any of that besides Yuina.
What? Why not?
Why the hell would I want to get remarried again to a woman who was betraying me for over 10 years?
Of course you would. Wait, you don't want to?
There's something wrong with your head.
Since when were you so spicy?
Plus, I'm sure Kazuyoshi will lose his seat as the president regardless.
What is that supposed to mean?
Oh, did you think that the employees who quit hadn't caught on to your lies and deception?
What?
Everyone has seen right through your plan, and we have all the evidence now too. It's only a matter of time before an emergency meeting is going to be called, and both the Vice President Kazuyoshi and you are going to be fired.
No, this can't be true.
And plus, the people that he was embezzling the money to. Unlike me, who was just fired and let go, I'm certain that the police will be fully involved.
The police?
I'm sure that they'll be right at your doorstep soon enough.
What about Yuina? What's going to happen to her? If I get arrested, then...
Oh please, funny how a woman who sent her own child to live off with her grandparents just after 3 months is acting like she cares.
What?
That, along with plenty of other evidence that I've collected more than enough thanks to a detective that I've hired. Even your parents were crying, saying how they felt so sorry for Yuina.
You spoke to my parents?
Well, when I told them that I would be taking Yuina back, they cried even more and thanked me. Therefore, there will be no more issues at all if you get arrested.
But what else was I supposed to do? He hated children. That's not my fault.
The two of you are truly the scum of the earth, and I feel the most sorry for Yuina, who had to go through this. Because it's partly my own fault, I'm going to apologize to her over and over again. In return, no matter what happens, I'm going to protect her if my life depends on it. You two, on the other hand, I couldn't care less about what happens to you.
Even if it's just me, please help me.
You're the person I care about the least.
Wait, Kyochi, please! Kyochi, help me!
And so I got my revenge. I blocked both of their numbers and I went straight to Misako's parents' house to pick up Yuina.
Dad!
Yuina! I'm so sorry. From now on, I'll never let you go.
Daddy!
I held my daughter, who had grown a little taller but was as cute as ever. Shortly thereafter, Misako and Kazuyoshi were released from the company straight into the hands of the police. Given the reality of the situation, it's unlikely that they'll be able to avoid prison. As the former president of the company, I was questioned too, but I was cleared of any wrongdoing and released with a clean slate. To my relief, I was also awarded full custody of Yuina. Nowadays, we rented a house near where Yuina was living with my in-laws, and the two of us are happy. Phew, sheesh, Yuina. Do you think that we could take a break? Dad feels a little sick from that roller coaster.
No, again!
This is our third rotation of the coffee cups, followed by the roller coaster.
You left all alone me with those people, Dad, so you're gonna play with me until I say so.
Yes.
I know that you're not my real dad, but even then, I love you, Daddy.
Yuina.
Look, there's a crepe stand over there that looks delicious. Dad, I want a chocolate banana crepe.
Aren't you sad that your mom isn't around anymore? I asked her just once. I don't want a mom that makes my dad sad, was her reply. It was a complicated feeling, but I can't deny that that made me a little happy. From now on, as both her father and the president of a company, I will continue to protect my daughter and the employees that trusted me again. With this promise at heart, I moved forward with Yuina by my side.